We have already discussed the concept of layer, the types and variants of the layer, but we must learn how to organize, group, merge, or flatten them to make one. In this tutorial, we will explore 10 attributes and options related to layers, which allow us to better manage and organize our layers. The management of layers in Photoshop is done by the Layer panel found on our right, and by the Layer menu found in the upper panel. First, duplicate a layer. To duplicate a layer is by right-clicking the mouse, duplicating the layer, or by using the Layer menu. The best is by Ctrl+J keyboard shortcut. You can also drag the layer to be duplicated on the little plus, one below in the Layer panel. Second, manage the visibility, opacity, and fill of my layers. To manage the visibility of your layers, it is by the eye icon allows you to hide and appear the layer. For opacity, we have the two bars on our right on the Layer panel, opacity and fill. It does not really have a big difference between opacity and fill. Third, lock or unlock layers. To unlock my layer, we just need to press the key. To lock my layer, it is through the Layer tab, Lock the Layers. A panel asks me to lock my layer by transparency, image, position, everything. For example, if I lock in position, I cannot move my layer, but I can apply other settings to it. By pressing this key, my layer is locked. The key means that it is locked on everything. To specify my lock, it is by its icons that are next to the key. Fourth, group layers. To organize my layers properly, if they are numerous, I can group them together. For example, duplicate a few copies of layers by Ctrl+J, or make different layers of settings. By right mouse, click Group according to the layers. On the other hand, by the Layer tab, associate the layers. However, the best way is to select its layers by the Shift key, then group them by a keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+G. G is a group. I can also create subgroups in the same way. Fifth, attribute marks and rename my layers. Assign color marks. Per right mouse click, we have a whole color palette that can be used as a mark. Red, orange, green, blue, etc. We can apply its marks for layers and groups of layers. To rename my layers, it is through the Layer tab, in the upper panel, rename the layer. The best way is by double-clicking on the name of the layer. I can rename it, like this, quickly. Sixth, creates blank layers, adjustment layers, fill layers. To create blank layers, it is by this small plus at the bottom, in the Layer panel. We can create one, also by the Layer tab by going into New, so I can name my layer in advance, assign it a mark, manage its opacity, etc. To create an adjustment or fill layer, either by the Layer panel on my right, also by the Layer tab, New Adjustment Layer, or Fill. For fill layers, they do not have icons in the Layer panel, but we have the small icon, from below, with the settings layers. Seventh, arrange your layers. To arrange the layout of your layers, go to the Layer tab, Layout. From there, the layout can be arranged in the foreground, forward, backward, etc. However, the best way is by dragging down your layers. 8th, merge, link, and flatten your layers. After finishing your work, the number of layers will affect your PC and make it slow, likewise for file size. So, to validate your work, we can merge layers to reduce the number of layers. To merge the layers, you must select our layers to merge, then by right-click of the mouse, you have Merge Visible Layers, which means merging all active layers in the layer panel. If I select a layer in the middle of several layers, Photoshop gives me the option to merge all the layers, that is to say, all the active layers, or according to the lower layer. Flatten the layers is to merge all the layers into a single layer. This option is used when you are sure nothing is changed and your work is validated. Because once the layers are flattened, we cannot go back. Once the layers merge, you will not be able to modify them too. If my layers are merged with adjustment layers will be a real problem. To remedy this, we select our layers, and by double-click on the mouse, we do not merge the layers, but rather link them. This way I keep access to the changes. 9th, copy to CSS, SVG. Everything you create and process in Photoshop can be copied into CSS code and SVG extension. For web designers, UI designers, and developers, this is very useful. To copy the CSS code of an image, shape, or other, it is by right-click of the mouse, copy CSS, and copy SVG. 10th and last, export as, export fast in PNG format. We can export our layers easily. By right-click of the mouse, we have exported fast in PNG format. Or by exporting as, which allows you to export your layers, images, or files precisely. Besides, we have the export extension, in PNG, JPG, SVG. Size of the image. Size of the work area. Export with metadata or no information. Convert to RGB or incorporate colorimetric profile.